Hello and welcome to this Pilates basics class. Just a very short little sequence, probably like 15-20 minutes, just basically going over the basics of Pilates, what it is, how you should be engaging, what you should be looking out for, etc. So if you didn't already know, the principle of Pilates is A, B, C. So not just the alphabet, it's A for alignment, B for breath, breathing, and then C for core. So with all those three, you need to kind of connect all of those to be efficient with the movement. And it can be a few different ways you do it, through your core, through your breathing, and obviously through the alignment. So what I'll do is I'll go over 3, maybe 4 exercises, and then just to get you to kind of connect it, what I'm saying, with actually doing it. So we're going to start from standing. You can see here. So what you're going to do, we're going to just get our standing alignment. So if you start with your feet together and you're going to take your heels out and your toes to 12, and then I just want you to make sure that you're even across the fronts and the backs of the feet. So just kind of moving back and forwards. This is us going through the alignment right now, obviously, as you probably know. And just noticing where, as you stand normally, do you kind of draw in? Do you draw out? Do you want to turn your toes out? Just notice. And we're just going to recorrect it. So shift your body weight back and forwards, and then to the sides, and then just find your center. You're going to lift your toes up, spread them out like you would your fingers if you can, and then place them down. Just keep your knees soft, like a tiny micro bend, tucking the pelvis under and then taking it back. So this action of tilting the pelvis under, posteriorly tilt, and anteriorly tilt the pelvis. Find your neutral. And then from there, work your way up through the shoulders. So just roll the shoulders round, back and down. Imagine you've got side pockets. Slot the arms into the imaginary side pockets. And then just head tall, and making sure that your chin is kind of parallel to the ground. Okay, so we're not stiffening up here. I'm just making sure that you're maintaining this as you are breathing. Now going into the breathing. So I want you to place your hands on your ribs, and I want you to focus on breathing laterally into your hands. So breathing in and then breathing out. And then continue. As you are breathing in, you might not feel like you are, but you are bracing your core. And just continue breathing in and out. So as you breathe in, you take a pause as you take your full in breath. And then just press where your core is, the top bit of your core, all of your core. It should be solid, obviously a little bit of leeway. And then just exhale. So that's what we want to maintain, as well as that action of drawing in. It's not right or wrong either, which one I'm going to explain. So breathe in laterally, breathe into the front of the ribs, sides of the ribs. Then we'll connect to the core. So from your hip bones to the middle, I want you to imagine you've got a belt. And I want you to imagine you're drawing the belt back, drawing your pelvic floor up. So imagine you go to the toilet, but you're trying to stop yourself, sort of thing. So I want you to try and pull in to the tightest you can. We're not going to stiffen up. We're not going to not breathe. You're just going to draw back. So from here, draw everything up. Pull everything in towards that middle. So where the buckle, if you imagine where the buckle would be on your belt. So pulling that in and holding, and just feel. It should be, obviously, the top layer will be soft, but the deeper layer should be solid. Okay. And then just let that go. Now pull back to about half of that, so 50%. So pulling back in just to halfway. Again, if you want to press, you can. Shouldn't be as solid as the last time. And then release. And then pulling in just 20-30%. Just what you kind of want to maintain when you're kind of moving through things, as well as you breathe in, and then let that go. So throughout this, the aim is to connect your alignment, your breathing, and your core. We'll go through the exercises. So we're going to go through a roll down, so you can just stay facing. I want you to imagine you've got a wall, or you can be against a wall if you wish, and you're going to peel down off the wall one vertebrae at a time. So staying as you are, just keeping everything as it is, and you're going to start by elongating the spine, starting to tuck the chin in, and just start one vertebrae at a time, peeling off this imaginary wall or off a wall. And you're just going to peel down to where you can. So if that's where your knees is your maximum, that's fine. If you can, start to come down a little bit lower, and then maybe just let yourself hang down if you're getting quite low. You can keep a micro bend in the knees, you can bend the knees a lot more, or you can keep the legs straight as long as you're not locking the knees out. And then we're going to draw the navel away from the fronts of the legs, and you're going to start to curl back up. And just making sure that you're breathing throughout. Start to peel back up. Head should be the last thing to come up. And then we'll just do that twice more. We'll smooth it out a little bit. So just start to tuck in and slowly peel down. Making sure you're integrating all of those things I've talked about. Again, when you're ready, start to curl back up. One vertebrae at a time. Head should be the last thing to come up. And one more. Tucking in, slowly building down, bringing it down. If you imagine on this next one, we're going to just take a brief pause at the bottom, get to your maximum. If you imagine you're trying to pull the ground apart with your feet, you're not going to turn your knees in. Or if you want to imagine you're kind of screwing your feet out, you're turning, you're rotating your feet out, but you're staying down. So as you come up, have that action of you're turning your feet out, but they're staying grounded. So you should feel, as you curl up, the backs of the legs, the glutes, working a little bit more. Again, make sure that head's the last thing to come up. Okay, right. We'll move on to a couple more. So what we'll do is we'll go into lying down on our backs. So we'll make your way down onto your back. Okay, right. So this little trick, what I normally do, as we go through this next one, you'll be able to know if your kind of core isn't kind of like fully engaging, or if you've got some weakness there. So a little bit of a trick to help. As you lie on your back, just rock your pelvis back and forwards, and I want you to find your neutral. So not anteriorly tilt, not anteriorly tilting, and not posteriorly tilting. You find your neutral, so you've got just a tiny little gap in between your back and the mat. And I want you to, from here, imagine your feet are really light to the floor. So imagine you're trying to lift them off the floor, but you're not. And just keep doing that a few times. So imagine you're trying to lift the feet, but you're not. And then just let it go. So imagine you're kind of grounding the feet down, not lifting the hips and not lifting the feet. You won't really see me doing much if you're watching. Just noticing what's coming up. And then just have that action when we go through this next bit. So imagine, again, drawing everything in. Make sure you're breathing. You're going to exhale as you lift up your right leg. And then you're going to take it back down. And then switch. So exhale as you lift. Inhale as you lower. If you want to do it the other way around, that's absolutely fine as long as you're engaging. Right, next bit we're going to add in. So have that same action. Put your feet down. You're going to take your right leg up without letting anything change if you can. Just really lighten the load at the left foot without letting anything change. If you want to take your hands to the bottom bit of the stomach, you can as well. Lift up the left leg and then lower down one at a time. If you found that your core was rising up there, maybe it's a little bit more of a bracing action is needed or more work is needed here. So start with the left leg this time. Left leg lifts. have that lightening up action on the right foot, and then try and lift the right leg without anything changing, and then down one at a time. So now just continue that, or once more for each, and just if anything's coming up, then you know that you need to keep focusing on this version or the previous version. And then the next time you come down, we'll now come up with both legs, keep the knees in line with the hips, and make sure that the leg is hinging, moving away from the hip, tapping the toe briefly, and then coming back. Again, you can inhale as you go down, exhale as you come up, or vice versa, whichever feels better to you, as long as you are breathing. Just do one more for each. Last one. And then just release. Well, okay, we'll go through bridge from here, and then we'll do a one from seated. So heels in line with the knees, and obviously knees in line with the hips. You don't want to have your feet out here or feet together. For Pilates, we normally have heels in line. Obviously yoga would be different, you'd have them closer. Okay, so now we're going to rock your pelvis back and forwards, and now we're going to try and peel up the spine one vertebrae at a time. So I want you to rock your pelvis back, and then tailbone should lightly lift. Squash your sacrum, the lower part of the back, down, and start to peel up one vertebrae at a time, keeping the feet planted as you come up into your bridge, breathing in at the top, and then start from the top of the spine, or near enough top of the spine, start to peel down one vertebrae at a time. Try and keep the hips up as long as you possibly can. And we're just going to do that 2 more times because we're going to keep this slow. So rock it back and start to peel up. Notice what might be coming up. Are you grounding evenly into the feet? Or are you swaying? Or are your knees coming out? Start to peel back down. Make sure you're breathing. And then you're just going to do 1 more of those. So peeling up. You could breathe in as you come up, or you could breathe out as you come up. Breathe in at the top, and then breathe out as you peel back down. Normally that's the version I prefer. Making sure that your hips are the last thing to come down. So everything, when we're moving, the core should be connecting as well. So as you're peeling up, you're drawing the navel back to help you tuck the pelvis, peeling up and peeling down. Okay, however you want to sit up, you can rock to your side, or you can rock up to a seat. Okay, this next one, last one, go through spine stretch. So making sure that your feet are not too wide here. So you can either have your heels in line with your hips, or you can have them in line with your mat if you've got a mat. It's up to you, whatever's comfortable. If you're finding that you're sitting here, for me, I've got a really tight back, so this is really easy for me. It's not to say that it's a good thing. So if you feel like your back is round in here, you might need something to help prop you up. So you might need a pillow or something that's comfortable to sit on. Making sure that you pull the meaty parts of the bum back, so you're right on your sit bones. Heels in line with the hips or slightly wider. Flexing the feet back, so point the toes up to the ceiling, and point the toes up, not out, and not pointing forwards. Take your arms in line with your shoulders. Either palms can face each other or they can face the floor. Make sure that you're pulling your shoulders back and down rather than hunching. You're going to take a deep breath in here, elongate the spine. As you exhale, draw the navel back and focus on trying to reach forward, stretching the spine. And then ground the legs down, draw the navel back and start to peel back up, making sure that your head is the last thing to come up. We'll just do that 2 more. So breathe in here, breathe out, draw navel back, chin forwards. Take another inhale as you come out, and then an exhale as you start to peel back up. Right, last one. Again, you can imagine a wall or you can use a wall. So inhale, exhale, draw back, reaching forwards. Ground the legs, articulate back up. And then let that go. Well, okay, so that was, like I say, a very basic, just going over the principles of things, where you kind of, how you should be kind of drawing in, the alignment, where you should be breathing, or you should just be breathing, sort of thing, and just connecting the alignment, the breath, and the core. So hopefully you found that helpful, and if you are wanting more, stay tuned for more as I go through the next principles of, well, next exercises that are in Pilates. It would be like rotation, lateral side bends, again, all integrating through that ABC. Okay, right, you'll see me soon. Thank you.